Good day and welcome to Langelihle podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and please subscribe, like and hit the notification button. And we would also like to hear your comments. So today I'm not alone. Ngihamba with our very beautiful guest, Usamke, and we're going to touch on the topic of lesbians. We're going to talk about lesbians today. So Samke, I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. I won't introduce because I know you know yourself better than I do.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So my name is Samukelisiwe Lembede. I come from KZN. I've been in Joburg for a couple of years now. So I work in the legal space as a company secretarial professional. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Why the legal?
It was never the plan. No, it was never the plan.
Oh.
I think I've always loved business, corporate in particular, and I knew that's where I wanted to end up. But I guess life just kind of redirects you. I found myself doing a legal degree, which is the Bachelor of Laws. And I can say that it's kind of worked out the way it was supposed to, because it's opened doors that probably wouldn't have opened if not for the degree. So yeah, I wanted to be in corporate, but I was somewhat convinced that with the legal degree, it would give me more of a competitive edge, in the corporate space, since it's quite competitive. So I went with that, and I guess I can say it's kind of worked out.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So it wasn't all about your sexuality. I'm gonna fight for my rights and all that.
Not at all. I mean, I am a human rights, activist in my own rights. Well, I mean, as a person who believes in right and wrong and just people being allowed to be themselves, but it was never really something that I thought I would do professionally or intended to. But I mean, I'm definitely open to that if my career ever directs me to that.
Oh, okay. Yes. So that's nice. That's great. So now going back to our topic, because today we're gonna talk about being a lesbian, what it's like to be a lesbian, and all the things that you guys face, the challenges, the joys, everything. Jay. So I'll start by asking you, like, when did you find out you yourself personally?
So I guess I would say I relate to the term in terms of my primary attraction. My primary attraction is towards women. So I suppose then if you look at the term lesbianism, it that's basically what it describes, that it's women who are primarily attracted to other women. But I prefer, and I usually if I have to describe, I go with the term queer, which is basically an umbrella term. It can be used interchangeably with the word gay. It just means that you are not straight. That's how I like to describe it. It just means that you're not straight. You're not heterosexual, in other words. And that's where you find all the other terms. Your bisexuals, your transsexuals, your asexuals, they fall under the queer term. And for me, then, as to why I subscribe more to that term than lesbianism, for example, I just find that it allows me to just be, it makes it clear that I'm definitely not straight. But then I can just exist like everyone else, instead of then being put into a certain box. Because the moment you say, oh, you're lesbian or you're transsexual, then there are certain expectations that come about as a result of that specific term. Now for example, now I can't rock up in a dress because people don't associate lesbians with that, for example. That's just one example of why I try to not subscribe to the terms that would put me into a box, but I just like to be, whilst not shying away from saying that I'm not straight, which is why I then say I'm queer. And to coming back to your question, which was
when. So like, when did you know? When did you get to know that I was some gay? No,
yeah, something. I suppose it really, if I'm being honest, it really goes back to my teenage years. I could tell that there was something different about me. I started having certain attractions to women, but I wouldn't have at that time, categorized that as, this is me being attracted to women. I just thought, I think this person is cute, or, but the thing is, for some reason, I was not comfortable to ask other girls around me, if they experience the same thing. So there was already something that was a bit of a discomfort about it. But if I'm being honest, I think it dates back to those years when I started being attracted to people. Then I realized that I have some sort of attraction to the same sex, but it was only later on, after my varsity years, that I started making sense of it, and that's when I started the journey of embracing that.
Oh, okay. So in terms of you wanting to be referred to as queer, does it also affect the pronoun that people should use towards you, whether they should refer to you as she or they, him, those pronouns?
That's actually a good question. No, for me, no, it does not. I know that with certain people it does, but for me it does not. I'm very much comfortable with the reference to myself as she or her. I definitely don't have an issue with that. I relate to my femininity. I very much embrace that, and I can be as feminine as I can be masculine if I want to. So for me, it's not an issue. But it's a very good question. For some people, I know it does. I know it does.
Okay. So we also know that there's a term that we mostly use, that people in that community, the LGBTQI, they have to come out of the closet. So when did you come out
of the closet?
Yes.
So I guess I've always considered it to be, well, first of all, we don't like it, the whole concept of coming out of the closet, but it is a reality. Okay. It is a reality that society has an expectation that people should announce, that this is who I'm attracted to, this is who I sleep with, or however you want to look at it. So it's something that is a norm. It's out there. We can't run away from it. But like I said, that I always look at it as being twofold. The one, or the first aspect of it, is coming out to yourself. Okay. Whereby once you start understanding your attraction and how you differ from other people, then you go through this journey of, I guess, embracing that, accepting that, making sense of what it is also, because, is it just a case of me being attracted to other women, or do I secretly wish that I was a man? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I started doing that when I would say, just shortly after I moved to Joburg, because I was coming to live by myself. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's like, I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but that independence that I was gaining and just coming into this big city by myself and exploring myself, it just triggered some of the things that I guess I had psychologically buried. Because then I started realizing that, wait, it was almost like, it was a very weird thing. It was like I was remembering that I was once attracted to women, because I sort of like buried it through my university years, Mm-hmm. So then it started like rushing back to me when I came this side, and then that's when I started exploring that and understanding if it was just a phase, or if it's something that it's who I am. So that would have been about 6 years ago or so. Okay. That's when that would have happened. And then the second part of it is when you now start coming out to people. Mm-hmm. So the external side of it. Mm-hmm. So I would say that probably started 2 years after that period. And I started with friends. It comes up in a conversation. They will know if you're talking to your phone in a funny way. Yeah. That there's some romantic interest there, and then they'd ask, who's the person, and you'd start saying to a friend or two, it's a girl, and then you'd wait to see the reaction. So I guess for me, that's how it started, in those little ways, as I got more comfortable with myself, in saying that and embracing that. Oh, this is what is happening to me. And at the time, to be fair, also I wasn't completely sure as to what the sexuality was at that time, and again, whether it was a phase or if it was a real thing. But okay. I was becoming comfortable to the idea that maybe this is who I am. And so that's when I started introducing it with friends and stuff, and mentioning it in conversations, and just watching people's reactions, and also just studying how it sits with me to say it. Okay. So that's been my process with that.
So in terms of your family, is there anyone, do they know who you are, and how was their reaction, if ever they do know?
So my parents, yes, are very much aware. It is a fairly recent thing for them to have been introduced to this thing, and me saying, okay, this is my life, this is who I am. Some other family members, aunts that I'm close to, cousins, they do know as well. But I guess because of I guess the issue I somewhat have with the whole concept of coming out, I haven't really made it like a tradition to constantly come out. And also, you don't do it once. It's exhausting. So there are people who might say they're not aware of it because I've not set them down to say, hey, this is what is happening. But I've been pretty much open intentionally. I mean, just last week with Pride, Joburg Pride, I posted, I was wearing this and the shirt. I mean, to be fair though, they could have thought that I'm an ally. But I've been very much open about that, and whoever I think has been paying attention and is not in denial about anything, I think must have been able to see that this is what is happening. But yeah. So, but for the most part, I think, the most essential people would be your parents, because you don't want them to find out, like, in the streets. They know, and they've embraced it. So I'm comfortable.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. You're one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Yes, very,
that's
very,
amazing.
very fortunate.
Okay.
Very.
So since you mentioned the Joburg Pride, which I believe it happened on the 29th of October. So what was that about? What was happening there? Like, what was happening? Just take us through the whole day about what happened there.
Okay, so firstly, it was my first Pride event. I've always wanted to attend it, but I suppose also COVID came into play. So, because I think this is the first one after probably 2019 or 2018, I'm not sure when the last one was. So what basically the event is about, it's well, this is how I would describe it, or what it means to me.
Okay.
It's about visibility. It's about queer people or gay people coming out, not in a sense that they are announcing that they're gay, but just being in the streets and literally marching for the rights of gay people. For gay people to be recognized, to be allowed to be just as visible as other people, and just to also humanize people once again, and remind them that at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all humans, and we all have the same. We should be able to share the same rights, and opportunities, and should not be limited because of our sexuality or sexual orientation. So that's what the Pride event is about. Just the colorful, literally, because it gets gets quite colorful. It's just allowing gay people to just enjoy themselves, enjoy being in the gay crowns, and be seen as who they are, and not be limited in any way. That's what essentially the event is about. So it's just basically marching around, wherever it is. So this one was held in Sandton. So it was probably just about 5 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, just around a certain portion of Sandton. And as like I said, people would be in their colors, and you walk around in the buildings, there are people who will cheer on.
Wow.
And just recognizing that recognition of the visibility of gay people walking freely in the streets that we all should enjoy being in, without being discriminated or assaulted, worst of all. So that's essentially the essence of it, for me anyway.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I must say though that you guys are brave, because there was a rumor of you guys being bombed. There were bombs that are supposed to come in there.
Yes.
Were you not scared?
I was. I mean, to be honest, I didn't feel that it was real. The threat was real. But I mean, it could have been. That's the thing. It could have been.
It could have been.
It could have been. But I for me, it went back to what is the march about. It's if you look at when it started, it was at a time where gay people could not be at all visible. They weren't allowed to be. And there are people who started the march who fought for the visibility, who fought for the rights of people, the gay people, to be themselves. And if you look at those obstacles that were there, probably harsher than what might exist now, they still fought against all of that. And so I was like, okay, well, I was not trying to get bombed. Don't get me wrong, but I thought this is what pride is about. It's about, fighting and just going through the obstacles and hoping for the best and remembering the cause at hand and just fighting for it the best way you can.
And I must say, you guys were recognized. Hey,
Yeah.
Lesbian Talk everywhere. It was a very, very trending
pretty much.
topic, yeah.
Pretty much.
So, in terms of you, like, how did you grow up as a gay person? Like, how did you grow up? Did you face any discriminations or anything that, like, from your peers or the community that you grew up in, and stuff? Yeah.
I suppose for me, I don't know if I should say I was fortunate because I remember it's something that I only fully recognized and embraced later on in my life when I was an independent person.
Oh.
So I guess that's why I'm like, should I say I was fortunate that I didn't get to be in my younger years to have to deal with that in my younger years, where obviously I would have been dependent on people and probably more vulnerable than I am now. But I mean, I guess I can draw some insight into saying that I did grow up in a society, or rather an environment that, I mean, there was no assault that I heard of towards gay people, but you hear the language, you hear the language here and there, that it's not the most receptive, it's not the most respectful towards gay people. And I guess in a way, subconsciously, it kind of is what made me brush off what was somewhat there at the time, but I was still making sense of, because I could tell and I could feel that it wouldn't be something that's received, and I might started being treated differently. But to be honest, I didn't face any discrimination or see any, but the language would tell you how people really feel about the community, and so it impacts on whether there's comfort to be yourself or not in that kind of environment.
Okay,
yes.
Here. Hi, lucky you. I can say it looks like I'll keep on saying lucky you because
I guess
your
you could
story
say
is
that.
really quite different from
quite
the others that we hear outside here.
Yes.
But then okay, so there's a very high rate of suicide when it comes to the LGBTQI community. So what's your take on that actually?
It saddens me. I would start off by saying that it really saddens me, because I think no one should ever feel that they need to resort to taking their life just because they can't be accepted. I have observed that it's gone up, at some point, the rate that is, and it's unfortunate. I really think that it's unfortunate that people, because I think it probably stems from misunderstanding, because I think if you understand something, you don't fear it and don't feel the need to criticize it negatively, or to even resort to discriminating or even assaulting, just because you are taking this thing that you don't understand. So I think it's just very unfortunate, and I think for me, what I would say, to people who might be going through certain emotions where that might lead them to making such a decision, I would really ask that, I know that it can't be easy to be pushed to that point whereby you think, okay, the only way out of this, or the way to survive, well, ironically, is to just end your life. But I would really, plead with them to search deep within their hearts, find something in them that we still need in this world, and then just run with that. There's good in everyone. There's something that each person contributes to this world, and there's so much that is precious about each and every one of us. And if they can just dig deep into that and tap into that, and find it, whatever it may be, I think that would be, I think it would help with the rates, because then less people would allow themselves to get to that point. But I mean, I don't fully understand it, so I can't really speak on it as if I understand it fully. But I just think it's such an unfortunate thing, and I hope people will continue to make an effort to understand what the community is, who the people in the community are, so that they can impart less impact to the people who end up taking their lives, because I think it starts with that, people just discriminating and disowning others, and then people then resort to making such decisions. Those are my thoughts on that.
Well, so it's all about basically accepting yourself and living your life for you and not for other people, which of course we understand that it may be hard because people, they have a lot of things to say. We have others that are still growing up, and there's this thing, these days, especially when it comes to the lesbian side, people tend to make it a fashion now. They'll be like, hey, mangi, they're dating and it's nice, and then now we also, maybe I should leave the boys because hey, Bashiba never told her, so let me go to the girl side. So what do you say about those people? Because they've turned this thing of you being you as that's who you are, this is who you are, and then it's not like you chose it for yourself, and then for someone to come and choose to be who you are, like they will obviously embrace it in a different way.
That's a loaded question. I mean, I feel two ways about it. I'll start with the easiest. I hope it's the easiest. But, the thing about gay people, generally, what I've observed and experienced, and being one myself, is that we're very free people and we allow people to be free. So there's this part of me that feels like if someone that feels like that's the phase they're in, to explore, whether it's just exploring their bodies or whatever it may be, a part of me wants to allow them to do that. Of course, I would hope that it's not done in a way that, I don't know, gives the community a bad name or takes us back, because we fought a lot to be recognized and to have people understand that this is not a choice, as you say, and these are our lives, but yeah, so there's that part of me that is like, people should be allowed to find out, because I think some people, it's about finding out if something, whatever urge they may be having is, there's something to it, and the only way sometimes to find out is to dive into something. But then there's the other perspective, which is that some people do it for money. As
really?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that gay people, mostly guys for some reason, tend to have money. So you will
I
don't know why. I'm not on that spectrum, but so then some people will be drawn to that, and they will pretend to be gay just so that they can benefit from that. So I'm not okay with that, and I'm definitely in no way promoting that. I just think that to some degree, if someone is just exploring and is finding out who they are and wants to be sure, they should be allowed to without being judged on doing that. Yes. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not encouraging people to do funny things, but I think people should be allowed to find out certain things about themselves. But yeah, like I said, it shouldn't be. On the other hand, I wouldn't want it to be in a way that degrades what we fight for every day. Basically, we have to defend ourselves sometimes without asking to do it, but we end up having to do it against people who have stereotypes, stereotypical thoughts and beliefs about the community. And so we can't have such people now taking us back, with all the things that we've been trying to defend ourselves against and explain to people, because now those choices they make perpetuate the stereotypes that people have in the towards the community. And then I'm not okay with that. So it's a balance. I think it's a balance. It really depends on the circumstances, I guess, for me to either be okay with that. But it's not fashion. That much it's not fashion. It's not fashion. These are people's lives. These are things that people are born with, and we're just existing to live our lives like everyone else, and it's not something we're doing for fun. So anyone who is just doing it for the kick of it, I don't support that, because it just takes away from something serious and something that is still a struggle to this day.
Okay. It's not fashion, please.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, so in terms of your dating life, have you ever dated a guy from the time that when you were like finding yourself, because you're saying this started back from your teens, you had to find yourself and explore yourself. So have you ever dated a guy, a man?
God, no. No, but I will say, and I always make a joke of it, that there was a guy who, because it was literally around that time when this thing came back to me, and I was like, I think this is the right time for me to really find out if this is a phase or if this is who I am. So around that time when I was asking myself questions and all of that, there was a guy who came into the picture, just on a getting to know each other basis. And yeah, I always say that I owe him flowers because he sort of confirmed it for me that no, this is not. So he could have actually been someone I dated, as a guy, but no, it didn't get to that because I just couldn't. It confirmed my interactions with him, confirmed that it's not something I would be doing because I genuinely wanted, and it's something that's coming from like inside of me. But I just simply would have been doing it to, I guess, appease society, to fit in and to be accepted, because it's hard to be queer, and you have to explain yourself all the time, and so it's far easier to just pretend to be straight. But yeah, so I did never got to that. It never got to that, thankfully, because I would have been living a lie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, so I haven't.
Okay, so I also believe that there are different types of lesbians. Would you like to maybe elaborate for us on that?
So I'm not expert,
Okay.
but you get the feminine presenting ones. So those who are very much girly or ladylike, they would do their nails and wear heels and all of that. I can't do that, by the way, myself. But yeah, so you get those ones, the feminine ones. Also then are typical in by society's standards of what it means to be female. They're very soft, very gentle, just ladylike, so to speak. Then you get the ones that are a bit more masculine in their presentations, also maybe in just how they behave, could even be in how they speak, how they dress as well. So you do get those ones as well, the masculine ones. Then you get the ones that are still masculine. I'm still understanding the whole concept of being a stud.
Okay.
But I personally describe it as just pretty girls who like girls. I don't know, but who are like tomboys. That's the vibe I get from people who classify themselves as studs. So you get those as well, and yeah. So that's as far as I know, but I'm sure there's more. But yeah, it's the female or feminine presenting ones, masculine ones, and the studs were, I don't know, sort of in between. Just yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. So where do you classify yourself in?
I guess I'm kind of in between. So I've always been a tomboy since growing up. But I enjoy, I can wear, literally on a hot day like this, I can wear a dress, and I like short dress. When I wear dresses,
Wow.
it's a short dress. So that's why, I don't like it when people put people into boxes, because, people get shocked. And it's like, why are you shocked? I enjoy being a female, it's just that on most days, I'll wear my jeans and a t-shirt and stuff like that, just relaxed stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sort of in between. I have my days where I enjoy being a lady, and I enjoy the attention that comes with that. And then I have days where I'm just chilled, and I'm just, like today. Today is just a chill day where I just wanted to be free. And
Wow.
This is what I then look like when I'm doing that. Yes.
So in terms of your attraction to other women, like which ones are you attracted to? The feminine, the studs, the masculine ones? Where are you there?
I get you. So it would be the feminine. I like feminine women. I always say that my attraction can be summed up as I'm attracted to femininity. So when you're feminine, I'm instantly drawn to that. But I've been recently challenging myself, though, because I thought to myself, what if I meet someone, they obviously, I assume they would be feminine presenting, hence my attraction to them. So we hit it off, we date, and then we do our thing for years. And then they come back to say, I think I want to explore my masculine side. I've been thinking about that, and it's been challenging me to think about, because then you fall in love with the person, right? for who they are, not just who they appear as. What do you do in that situation? So it's something that I've been thinking about. But coming back to your question, primarily I'm attracted to feminine presenting, yes, women.
Okay. So when you like approach them, do you like already know that no, these ones are lesbians, or you just approaching like, you know, with the hope, oh, can she please?
Have I approached anyone though? I don't know. I mean, people that I've connected with, I have the worst. Okay, it's not the worst, but my gay die is not the best. So I hardly know if someone is straight or gay. I usually know prior to being interested in a person or showing my interest to the person that, oh, they definitely are part of the community, you know. So then, yeah, it's a tricky one. It's still something I struggle with. I wouldn't just, for example, look at you and because you could well be queer. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. So I don't think I've actually done like an in-person I've had conversations, but for me they've just been friendly conversations whereby I just thought to myself, if the person is on the community and they're interested in me, I'd get a vibe. But yeah, I've never gone up to someone with the intention of you know asking them out, but people that I have made advances to, it's been because I knew.
Oh, it's been
because I knew that they are part of the community, and it just and I was attracted to them because I'm not saying that I've approached everyone who's in the community.
Yeah, no,
yes.
Because the next question was gonna be like, if ever you approach and then the person is not part of the community, what then do you do? Because now you are in love, like.
I mean, I suppose, well, I haven't found myself in that situation, but I suppose it's all about respect. I like with you, for example, if I approached you with the intention of, you know, trying to build something, and for me to tell you that I'm attracted to you, I like you, you know, let's get to know each other, and you are like, I'm sorry, but I'm not part of the community, I think it would just be, for me, a simple case of saying, okay, well, thank you for being honest with me, because some people can lie about it and then it just gets weird. But I'd say thank you for being honest with me, for letting me know that this is not something that could be, and then I'd respect that, and I'd keep it moving. I think for me it should be as simple as that. I don't know, I hope other people don't complicate it. I mean, it should be as simple as that, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
I would hope so anyway.
We hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so what are the most annoying questions that you have been asked by people, or rather that you have had people ask the other community members that they're so annoying? What are they?
I mean, for me, to be honest, I don't know if maybe I'm too playful, but I don't get easily offended with some of the things I hear. I actually do. They make me laugh, if anything. But I do sometimes roll my eyes when people ask, so who's male and who plays the male part and who plays the female part?
Yeah.
Because I just think it's retarded. I mean, what does that mean?
Who plays the lobola?
Well, that one is fair. That one, I think that's a fair question. But I mean, you know, with simple things like, so who pays for a date? Based on the idea that usually in heterosexual relationships, a man will pay for the date. Then now people are like, but surely you must also have a distinction in a relationship where there are two women. Or even some would go as far as asking, you know, in terms of sexual intimacy, you know, who plays the role of a man and a woman in that sexual setting. And it doesn't annoy me per se, but it's just sometimes I roll my eyes and I'm just like, but I'm also, and I think this is why I'm not offended, I like the fact that we're getting these conversations going and people are, you know, genuinely interested in understanding. And because remember earlier I mentioned that it's because of lack of understanding that there are such great misconceptions, you know, and which then lead to discrimination, etc. But if we're asking these questions, no matter how silly they may be, we're getting a conversation started and we're addressing the questions so that we can all have the same understanding, and then no one will have misconceptions or discrimination. So it's not so bad, I suppose, if you look at it from that perspective.
Okay, well, yeah, that's great. Okay, so if what would you say to a young child growing up, a young girl, who is growing up and who doesn't, who's also in that stage of finding themselves or sees themselves as not normal, like what would you say to that girl growing up to find themselves? Let me just say that, yeah.
I would encourage them to continue to find out who they really are, what they really want, what they want for their lives, what really resonates with them deep within. Because I think if you take enough time to find answers to those questions, you will be able to, even if you do eventually accept yourself and you go out into the world and present yourself as that person, you'll be able to have more strength to fight for yourself. Maybe not fight per se, but you'll be able to stand up for yourself, and you'll be able to be assertive in speaking about who you are more so if you are firm in that. And you can only be firm if you've taken enough time to really understand yourself and understand your answers to these questions about who you are and what you want. So I'd encourage, that's the first thing I would encourage personally, that just make sure that you know the answers to these questions about who you are, and be sure that they are representative of who you are, what you want, how you truly feel, not based on external factors like what people think or will not think, and so on. And once you've got a firm position on that, I think then give yourself permission, because it's a journey. Give yourself permission to then start being yourself, start being visible to the world, and then not everyone is going to accept you. Unfortunately, I can't tell them that.
Yeah,
Not everyone
true.
is going to accept you. So it's just about just being firm in your own position, and just being brave enough eventually to stand up for yourself, and allow yourself to stand out, and hope that you will attract people who will embrace you for who you are, people who respect you and accommodate you for who you are. And if not, be okay with that, be at peace with that. Not everyone will understand you or will want to understand you, and that's okay. That's okay. Just continue to be yourself. That's all you can do at the end of the day,
Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much for that. To the little girl that's watching, that's also whether it's a little girl or a grown-up person that's watching, they will surely be encouraged, and I'm sure they will have to know that it's all about you accepting yourself first before you can go out and say you want to be accepted by someone else.
Very important.
Yeah. So is there anything that maybe I didn't touch on that you would have liked to address our viewers at home about being lesbian and the community?
The interview has felt quite the conversation, right, rather has felt quite wholesome. I do feel that we've covered quite a lot, but I guess I would emphasize that, like, let's just respect each other. Let's allow each other to be, and also to the people in the community as well, because I think we can be quite defensive, and rightfully so. No one wants to spend their life explaining themselves or feeling like they are the other, in society. So I get the defensiveness, and I get sometimes the anger that comes with that. But I think if we are also embracing of the fact that people sometimes genuinely with good intentions don't fully understand what the gay community is about. But if we take the time to be patient with them as well, as much as they may be trying to be patient with understanding us, I think we'll find that we'll make more progress. We'll make more progress in getting the community accepted and being allowed to be part of society as it should be. So I would encourage that. I think for me, that's just my thought right now, that let's just be accommodating of each other's understandings and misunderstandings, respectfully correct each other, teach each other what we can, because I'm also learning myself as much as I'm in the community. So we're not always going to get it right, but with patience, respect, and a deep desire, genuine desire to understand each other, I think we'll make a lot of progress, and we'll have less of fertilities or attacks, and that are addressed or inflicted on the gay people. So that's what I would say.
Oh wow, thank you so much. It has been a very educational conversation, especially for me, because there's a lot that I didn't know, and thank you so much for taking the time and giving us the opportunity to learn about the community, about part of the community with you.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and share what I can share. And like I said, we're all learning, so I'm just grateful for the platform, and thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in. So we were with Samuke. She was sharing and educating us about the lesbianism, the queerness actually. And I myself had a lot to learn. It was a very educational conversation with her. Please subscribe to our channel and like, as well as hit the notification button. We would also like to hear what's on your mind. Please comment as well. We will try by all means to get back to you. And please follow our pages. Follow us on Instagram at Langelihle Podcast. On Facebook, we are also at Langelihle Podcast. Thank you.